Alright, I still feel like shit, but I've got nothing else better to do, so I thought I would just upload a quick tag team. I wanted to say that this was kind of like the rock and sock connection of the Warhammer game, since it was like Empire and the Wars, but he didn't bring Core Franz, which kind of made it useless. Or not useless, but it just kind of didn't make it like that as low friendly as I wanted it to, but I'm pretty sure I actually did a battle where it was Thorgrim and Franz, so I guess I kind of made up for it. This was like the first game of yesterday that I played, because I was just like feeling sick, so I didn't get on till later. So I don't know, Empire and Dwarves is just such a potent kind of tag team, because they're both amazing at just defensive tactics. I mean, if you see this kind of like tortoise kind of formation we have going on here, where we're just completely protected on all flanks, it's ridiculous to try and penetrate unless you're like against something like Beastmen, or even black greenskins are pretty good at breaking them, but only if the you know what you're doing with your what's the word I'm looking for, if you're in cohesion with your teammate, whereas these guys clearly weren't. I guess this is the problem with tag teams, is you have me and Empty Thoughts. I mean, me and Empty Thoughts, as we're talking to each other, managed to kind of like build this formation, whereas our opponents, since I guess they weren't talking, I didn't know, they were just kind of random to each other. We had this little thing, and then you had this guy that was, for some reason, didn't really fully understand that artillery beats the shit out of Black Orcs, and so instead of, I know why he's going across, he's doing it because he's trying to protect his Doom Divers, because Empty's really into kind of harassing the enemy with these kind of flying lords and stuff. It's just really good at like knocking out artillery and killing enemy lords, especially with how powerful the Amber Wizard is with the whole Manticore situation. So I know why he did this, to kind of protect these Doom Divers, but I mean at this point you just have to say fuck it, the Doom Divers are going to do what the Doom Divers are going to do. I have to push these Black Orcs up there as quick as possible, because by the time they even reach my lines, I'm pretty sure all the Black Orcs, if you are just broken, are just aren't going to get any kills. The only guy that gets kills really are his Grimgo. Not to mention the fact that he has Wolf Riders here, he has Goblin Archer, so he could definitely protect it if he wanted to, without using his infantry. But what would have been better is if my opponents just kind of decided to do what we did. So you have my cannons at the front, you have his cannons, my front line of Longbeards and miners behind with blasting charge. I've got a Thane just to kind of steady the line. I've got a Master Engineer making his artillery a lot better. I've got Thorgrim obviously, which gives everyone a buff, and then I've got the Runesmith, which gives everyone else a buff. So we have this very difficult to break formation, whereas I mean I don't understand why he still has his pole arms here as well. I mean obviously he wants to protect his artillery, but all of the fighting's going on here, not mentioned. He has a Grail Knight, which I just wouldn't recommend in general. The only thing these are going to kill it really is Ken Race. If you're going to bring Cavalry, Knights of the Realm, it's the same with the Reiksguard versus Empire Knights. Obviously Reiksguard are better, but it just makes more sense to bring Empire Knights, because they do the same thing, but they're just like quite a bit cheaper. So the fact that my opponent our opponent was in kind of like two minds, they weren't really, you know, didn't really have any tactics going on, just makes it just way too easy to just, as soon as we break the Doom Divers and the Black Orcs, I mean this battle's over, because Trebuchets are going to do damage, but the polearms aren't, and neither are the peasants really. I mentioned the greenskin player for some reason went into a column formation. Now that's good if you're playing as like, I don't know, France and Napoleon, because they for some reason did column formations, but I mean that is why you don't do column. What he should have done is he should have done a line, or he should have tried to just kind of, even though these guys are slow and there's, you know, miners and handgunners, they're still going to be able to tank a little bit of damage before they start taking heavy losses. So he could have just tried to just break one of the flanks and kind of push diagonally in instead of going full frontal, but it would have been a lot easier had he had support. So I think this was just a case of communication versus no communication. If you're going to do tag battles, just get a friend, even if he isn't that good. It's going to be so much better, because you're going to be able to create formations like this, which are incredibly difficult to break. Opposed to little army here, little army there, and I mean if you look, these Doom Devils are just going to get absolutely eaten up by the Manticore. So not to mention these Black Orcs are done, they're going to get satcheled, which obviously isn't going to do that much damage. but I mean it doesn't need to do much because I've got armor piercing kind of militia versus heavy armor piercing, and even though they've been stand your grounded, that's not even a word, but whatever, they're still gonna just get like beaten up because there just isn't enough. Even if he's bringing supports in with Grimgor, the fact that I have 4 heroes, one of them having a healer potion means that Grimgor isn't going to last very long. His Black Orcs aren't going to last very long, and if he's finally what would you call teammate or whatever decides to bring his pole arms in, but this is going to be too late. And again, this is why I would much rather bring Empire Knight or Knights to the Realm over Grail Knights, because they're going to do the same thing. So not to mention these are like a lot more expensive, and especially against dwarves, it really doesn't make that big of a deal. Bring up Grail Knights, yes they're better and they will do more damage, but Riyadh charge from a Knights of the Realm is going to do it's not going to do as much, but it's going to do, or it's not going to do more, but it's going to do just as much. It's still going to break. So I don't know why you would go for the heavy shock when you could just go for the medium shock, which is just so much more cost effective. And this game is all about cost effective units. I mean, for example, these are incredibly cost effective, and it just makes it so difficult to break if you put them in a ring formation. If you look at good, his cannons did so well that mine got like no kills. My crit shows well, they got good kills, but they didn't get that many. So if you look at my opponent, I mean, look, no kills, very little kills, no kills, very little kills, no kills. Okay amount of kills. It's the same with the Black Orcs. Black Orcs did nothing. Goblins did nothing. So I mean, if they've kind of made more of a cohesive attack, I think they definitely could have done damage. It makes it difficult, especially when you've got, 4 flying units attacking when you don't have any. So obviously it makes sense to protect the Doom Divers, but when you're under such heavy fire from 3 grudge throwers, 3 cannons, partnered with a master engineer, just buffing them constantly, you have to decide, is the Black Orc attack more important, or is protecting the Doom Divers more important? I don't even know which is better, attacking just full frontal with these, or just kind of trying to protect these. But yeah, if you're going to do tag battles, just even if you play with a random person, just put your troops next to them. So even if you don't really know what they're doing, if they don't know what you're doing, it just makes it a lot harder to break. Whereas 2 separate units or separate armies versus 1 big one, it's just, I mean, that's how generals in real life just made the living, is by, if there was 2 armies, they would break one, then they would break the other, instead of having to break the entire huge army. It was just too difficult. So yeah, that was just a quick one because I'm feeling ill, so I'm gonna go to bed and die. So laters.